Good evening and welcome to the January 2nd, 2025 Council Reorganization meeting. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting was provided on December 10th, 2024 by sending written notice and electronic notice to the Courier News and the Breeze, posting on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building, and filing with the township clerk. I would ask those of you that are able to please stand. Troop 46 of Martinsville will be presenting colors, leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Following the Pledge of Allegiance, if you could please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. Thank you. Next, I'm going to invite Rabbi Dan Selsberg of Temple Shalom right here in Bridgewater to come up for an invocation. Rabbi?
Good evening, Happy New Year. Catch when you invite a rabbi. I would like to say a couple of words before I say a couple of words. A blessing before the blessing. One of the blessings of beginning a year of a new year and a new session here is that local government is not federal government. And local politics are not federal politics. And the ability just to focus on getting things done without all the distractions and without the level of rancor that can come when people think one way or the other that this or that, the fate of the republic depends on it. Just being able to do things for your neighbors, for your friends, not for people on a screen or for somebody far away. It really makes a difference. And I would like to offer a blessing for this endeavor. We pray to the source of life, known to us by many different names. We are grateful to live in a country that strives for liberty and justice, a country where the people have the privilege to choose its leaders and to invest them with their authority. We pray for the people of our township, people of all ethnicities and religions and careers and incomes and interests and walks of life, who make our township a blessedly diverse mosaic. For all of us, may this be a year of health and peace, a year of sustenance and safety, Together in true harmony, may we work to safeguard the ideals, freedoms, and institutions that are the pride and glory of our country, our state, and our township. We pray for the leaders of our township. Holy One, send blessings upon our mayor, upon our council members, together with all of our township's other elected and appointed officials. Keep them in good health and grant them the wisdom to administer all their duties with fairness and sensitivity. May their confidence always be balanced by humility. May their decisiveness always be balanced by their careful consideration. May they listen closely and speak deliberately. May they be animated always by the highest ideals of public service, measuring their success exclusively based on what is best for our township. May they go forth in peace to work together to bring justice, safety, and prosperity to our community, consistent with the highest ideals of our nation, that all are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. For all this we pray, and let us say, Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Here.
Councilman Codilla?
Here.
Councilman Nogales?
Here.
Councilman Pedroso?
Here.
President Ring.
Here. The next item on the agenda is selection of the council president for 2025. Before we move to that, I would be remiss if I just did not take a brief moment. Serving as the council president, sitting up here on the dais and facilitating the meetings is the easiest part of being council president. There is a ton of things that go on behind the scenes, working with the administration on agendas, working with the clerk's office, putting packets together, last minute changes, working with legal counsel on guidance on the various pieces. So having served my first term as council president, I would be remiss if I did not take a second to thank the administration, the ladies in the clerk's office, and Mr. Corsini and his staff for all of their help and support in the last year. So thank you. With that, moving to the selection of council president, 5 years ago, when I was first elected to this governing body, Councilman Nogales kind of took things under his wing and helped not only Councilman Kirsch, but myself become acclimated to the council and make sure we were set up for success to be up and running in as short of time period as possible. And that leadership that he showed 5 years ago sits in my memory today. And so I can think of no better person to nominate to take over as council president from me than Councilman Nogales. I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Unless there's any discussion, take a roll call.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Codilla?
Yes.
Councilman Nogales?
Abstain.
Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
President Ring.
Yes. With that, that concludes my time as council president. So I will pass the seat to Council President Nogales. Thank you. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the selection of a vice president. We have with us today Philippe Pedroso, who has been a long-term member of this body. He is an attorney of record. He's a business owner. He's a family man. And he has lived in more sections of Bridgewater than the rest of us combined. Is that 5 or so? I don't know. How many?
8 different houses.
8 different. Okay, so that tells you something, folks. But anyway, it is my privilege to nominate Philippe Pedroso as vice president for calendar year 2025. Do I have a second?
I'll gladly second that.
Second that. Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Codilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
Abstain.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales.
Yes. This year, we're going to do something that's slightly different. We have on the agenda an item of the selection of the clerk of the council. In the past, we have automatically assumed that Grace would be the clerk for the council sessions. but embedded in our bylaws is the requirement that we select a person. So therefore, I am going to nominate Grace as the selection of the clerk of the council for the year 2025. Do I have a second? Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch,
Yes.
Councilman Codiller,
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso,
Yes.
Councilman Ring,
Yes.
President Nogales.
Yes. Now, this is an opportunity for me to say a few words, so I'm going to go down there because it'll be a little easier. Thank goodness my notes are still here. That's always a concern, let me tell you. Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bridgewater Council Reorganization Meeting. This is one of the more important meetings that we have over the course of the year. And today is a very special day in the life of our council as we shift some responsibilities for the year. I want to thank Tim Ring, Alan Credilla, Michael Kirsch, and Philippe Pedroso for selecting me as president. This is my 5th time as president in my 21 years on the council, and I think they think that maybe this time I'll get it right. But before I talk about my new assignment, I want to introduce you to the folks who are the real heartbeat of the council. You all know who have seen Grace Najunu, who heads the clerk's office as the registered municipal clerk, working with Grace. Now, ladies, I'm going to ask you to, of course, to stand up. Giuliano Colho is the deputy municipal clerk, and you see her up here on the dais anytime Grace is not able to make it. Working with her, are very ably produced, is Ali Gust, who previously worked in Public Works, and Natalie Trozzi, who just recently transferred from the tax collector's office. They are the true face of the township, and also the ear of the township, if you happen to call. Thank you, ladies, for being here, and thank you for the support you provide to this council every day of the week. I also want to personally thank Township Administrator Mike Pappas, who very patiently and promptly returns calls and emails and makes the council and the council president jobs bearable. Michael wears many hats as he manages the various departments, including finance, human services, municipal services, which in itself is an umbrella organization for public works, roads, buildings, grounds, sewers, and parks. He also coordinates with the police department and the municipal court. Thank you, Michael, for your work. But before I delve deeper into the council work, let me touch on the things that the council does not do. It is very important for the public to understand that while we as councilmen have a wide range of responsibilities, we do not plow your streets in the winter. We do not engineer flood or road jobs. We do not supervise the individual departments or negotiate with the Board of Education. So many of the concerns that may affect you personally and your quality of life, if you present those issues to the council, we may in fact have Mr. Pappas and his part of the organization share some of those things to be able to help. And now for a few thoughts about council responsibilities. The council is the legislative arm of the government. Legislative powers are exercised through resolutions and ordinances, and in rare cases, investigations. Resolutions are basically decisions to do something, or in some cases, do nothing. An example would be hiring a contractor or a professional with a particular skill. Ordinances are a little bit more complex. An ordinance is a law or regulation enacted by the council acting as the seat of municipal government. Ordinances govern matters not covered by federal or state laws, focusing generally on local issues such as financial bonding, land use, land purchases and sales, zoning, noise control, and compliance with state and federal mandates, to name just a few. Now that you have heard the Cliff Notes version of the council activities, what are my thoughts about the job as president. Principally, there are three main tasks for the president. The first is to plan the council meeting and special meetings where necessary. This involves careful coordination with the administrator, Michael Pappas, the council clerk, Grace, township attorney, Chris Corsini, seated behind me, among others, including outside parties where necessary. Preparation for a meeting will vary greatly, as some items will be relatively simple, and others may be weeks and sometimes months in planning. Another duty is to administer the council meeting, serving as the chair, and conduct the activity as a judicial function. Principal among that responsibility is the facilitation of orderly council discussion, and usually, but not always, voting on a particular issue. Some issues are passed by a simple majority of members present, and some require a supermajority of 4 of 5. Public input under the agenda heading "Open to the Public" is a fundamental tenet of our form of government. The right of the public to speak to the council, be they residents, business owners, or visitors, is embedded in every single council meeting. As president, I will take the responsibility to be a good listener to the public as one of my most important functions. Over the years, I have sometimes seen the need for the president to keep the public speaker focused on township issues and concerns. This is, in my opinion, one of the toughest parts of the job as moderator. Only time will tell how well I do this year. The last formal job for the president is more or less to be the public face of the council. Any Bridgewater resident or business owner can reach me either by phone or email to the clerk's office. I put a small pile of business cards. They're brand new business cards, by the way. They say I'm president, so they must have just printed them up within a few minutes. But anyway, please feel free to take a card after the meeting, and you have my home number. The only thing I ask is no calls after 9 o'clock, please. I will not purposely talk about the many township accomplishments in 2024. I will leave that to the mayor and to my fellow council members as they address you in a few minutes. In 2025, Bridgewater will face numerous challenges, not the least of those being the affordable housing regulations forced upon us by the courts. Bridgewater has over the years been a great steward of affordable housing. Unfortunately, the previous process has been scrapped, and we will be faced with, in my opinion, an arbitrary additional allocation that will be of concern to our residents. You will hear more about that topic in a few months. Land development will be another top issue this year. The texture of our town is changing as large campus locations are no longer in vogue. These changes will be handled on a case-by-case basis. We will address and resolve situations in a careful and thoughtful way in 2025, just as we have in previous years. In a few minutes, I will read the names of dozens of residents who volunteer their time and talent to work on the various townships committees, boards, and commissions for the betterment of our town. They receive no compensation for their efforts. I believe they simply want to keep our town being a wonderful place to live and work. Those folks, along with our fire and EMS volunteers, deserve your thanks and your respect. I wish you all a happy and healthy new year and ask God's blessing on our town and its people. Thank you. Now we're honored to have with us Mayor Matthew Mensch, Mayor of Bridgewater, and he will give his State of the Address. Okay, I'll come back, thank you.
Good evening. Before we begin, I want to just take a moment to do a few housekeeping items. First of all, I'd like to recognize our Assembly representatives who are here, Assembly Minority Leader John DeMeo and Assemblyman Eric Peterson. Thank you both for being here tonight and for your representation of us and our residents in Trenton. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you being here tonight with us. We also have a Board of Ed member, Jennifer Lochran, who is here. Thank you, Jennifer, for your service on the Board of Education. I also note that Jeff Foose is here, who is our Zoning Board Chairman, so I want to recognize him as well. I know a lot of you who are here. I'm not going to name everybody in the room because I'd be pretty much naming everybody, I think, who's here, who helps make this township run, whether you're a staff member, you're a volunteer, or you're a family member supporting one of our elected officials, staff members, or volunteers. It takes a team to do everything that we do as a township. The other two things I'd like to do just as a moment of silence, just to recognize the fact that there were two events of significance over the past week. Former President Jimmy Carter passed away, my father-in-law tells a story that my in-laws immigrated from Portugal in the late 70s. And Jimmy Carter, of course, was president then. And my father-in-law, believed correctly that he had come to the greatest country on earth and was so happy to be here. And Jimmy Carter was president at the time, so if my wife had been born a boy, her name would have been Jimmy, after Jimmy Carter. We don't talk politics, by the way, me and my father-in-law, because I don't know that we were on the same page on the greatness of Jimmy Carter versus Ronald Reagan, but I do want to take a moment of silence for President Carter and his passing. And I'd also, while we were all, probably most of us were sleeping at the time, but while we were celebrating the New Year, of course, there was a terrorist attack on our residents, our citizens in the United States, in New Orleans. So for those victims of that attack and in remembrance of Jimmy Carter, I ask for a moment of silence for those. Thank you. So with that, good evening. Happy New Year to our Bridgewater residents, honored guests, council members, and everyone watching at home. Thank you for joining us this evening as we reorganize the Bridgewater Township municipal government. It's a privilege beyond measure to stand here before you once again as your mayor. I am proud and grateful for the opportunity to lead and serve all Bridgewater residents for another year. Tonight, as we reflect on what we've accomplished and look ahead to the work that remains, let's remember this. Progress is built through vision, collaboration, and hard work. Over the past 5 years, we have laid a strong foundation for our community's future, and together, we will build upon it to ensure Bridgewater continues to thrive for generations to come. We've already seen tangible results. Our focus on public safety has strengthened the bond between residents and our Bridgewater Police Department. Led by Chief Mitzak, who is here with us. Thank you, Chief. Our programs like Bridgewater Shield, the Citizens Police Academy, and the Women's Self-Defense class have not only been successful, but transformative, making Bridgewater a model for other communities and reinforcing trust between our officers and our residents. And I'd like to note that some of those programs are not always traditional policing programs, like our community policing program that we have, and take real leadership from Chief Mitzak, your command staff, to make sure that we had full buy-in from our department and that these programs are successful. And so we appreciate the partnership with the police department and everyone who made these things happen. We've also prioritized long-term financial stability. By budgeting responsibly, we've balanced the township's needs while planning for a sustainable future. We approach this with the same care that you would for your own family, ensuring that every dollar spent is done so wisely and for the purposes of delivering services to you. At the same time, we remain vigilant in protecting the privacy interests of Bridgewater residents. This past year, we successfully prevailed in a lawsuit against Rise Against Hate, which sought to access and exploit our residents' private email addresses. This victory underscores our residents' our firm commitment to safeguarding your information and ensuring that our local government acts as a shield, not a conduit, for those who would overreach. In the coming months, we are excited to launch a new township website, a modern, user-friendly platform designed to improve communication, increase transparency, and make it easier for residents to access services and information. This upgrade is a significant step forward in our commitment to better serving you and keeping you informed around the clock. But our focus on connection doesn't stop there. Over the next year, we will expand community events to bring Bridgewater families, neighbors, and businesses together. Whether through festivals or opportunities to engage with local government, we want to continue strengthening the sense of community that makes Bridgewater special. As a large, sprawling town like Bridgewater, we don't have a traditional downtown, so we need to make sure that we take extra steps to make sure that our residents have a place to gather, have opportunities to come together, and to celebrate being here in Bridgewater. Another critical focus has been and will continue to be land use and land use development. This year, we are finalizing both of our new township master plan and open space and recreation master plan. With input from a great many residents through online surveys, public information sessions, and emails that have been solicited just from interested citizens, these plans will reflect your voices and priorities and ensure that we preserve the character of our community while guiding thoughtful strategic development. This is a blueprint that will serve Bridgewater's growth over the next 5, 10, and 25 years into the future. We will use all the tools at our disposal to implement these plans in the positive direction that we want, as well as to protect against development that we don't. Some of this will involve using the area need of redevelopment process, which is a tool that provides us greater control over the land use processes, including detailed site plan authority, open space or recreation requirements, and the statutory requirement to consent to or approve future sale of property. And to make sure everyone understands how important that can be, our Bridgewater Commons Mall is an area in need of redevelopment, which means, one, we've received over the years a lot of revenue off of the mall. We share in profit sharing with the mall. It also means that we have to approve any use that goes to the mall. Unlike an applicant who can, no matter what it is, they can appear in front of a zoning board, they can go in front of Jeff's board and ask for permission to do what they want, and there's certain legal standards they have to meet. If you're a redevelopment zone, you have to come to the council, and we can just say no. So this is an important tool for us to make sure as these campuses and some of these larger properties look to their future, that we make sure we know what's going there now, what's going there in the future, and that we're able to make sure that we protect our community from current or future overdevelopment. That, of course, leads into one of the most crucial topics that will be facing us over the next year and years coming on land use, which is the absolute overreaching and burdensome, harmful affordable housing mandates pushed down upon us by an activist Supreme Court and a legislature who has completely given up their responsibility for enforcing and creating laws and programs that provide affordable housing without destroying suburban communities. And make no mistake, what this affordable housing mandate will do is destroy suburban communities like Bridgewater's by forcing hundreds and thousands of units into communities that cannot support the infrastructure, the educational costs, or any other resources that are needed to provide for that level of housing. The state has continued to do this. It's social engineering at its worst. It's profiteering by individuals and companies who don't care where they go or what harm they do, but want to make a buck off of townships like ours. And we will continue to fight that every step of the way. Our community is one that welcomes everybody. We have housing from the top to the bottom. We will continue to provide meaningful opportunities for affordable housing that fit our community, that meet the needs of our community, and that provide an opportunity for people to come to Bridgewater. We will not support a mandate for hundreds of units. In our case, if it was built solely by developers that use a percentage of that, we'd be facing 2,500 more units in Bridgewater. So we will continue to work with our team to find ways of minimizing those impacts, whether that's through thoughtful planning, whether that's through public-private partnerships to cut back on the numbers, or whether that's through taking our case to court if we need to fight what we believe to be overburdensome and improper numbers for Bridgewater and for the state. In addition to these larger long-term projects, we're also continuing to prioritize some of the projects that meet needs of our residents more personally. Through our Bridgewater REACH program, we're providing tangible aid to families struggling with the opioid crisis right here in Bridgewater. We've recently funded educational assemblies for high school students, helping awareness and educate our young people about the dangers of addiction. That program, by the way, I had the opportunity to sit through it. I know there's not a way of showing it to all of you here, but it was an unbelievably impactful program that included residents from Bridgewater who have passed away or suffered because of the opioid addiction and crisis in this whole area, which hopefully will have an impact on the students to see it's not just people far away in some unknown town in some state that's not here. It's right here in our community. Additionally, we are proud to announce a new partnership with Communities in Crisis, a local nonprofit organization, to place an on-site community recovery champion here in Bridgewater. This individual will provide critical resources, education, and support to residents impacted by addiction. They will also serve as an extra resource for our law enforcement officers as they interact with individuals suffering from the disease of addiction, ensuring those who need it can access help. We know the road to recovery can be long and difficult, but by working with our community partners, we are taking concrete steps to ensure that every Bridgewater resident vulnerable to addiction has the support they need. Of course, these progresses come with challenges. We remain vigilant. We will continue to protect taxpayer dollars by keeping our municipal budget lean and sustainable while maintaining our services to impact that our residents deserve and require. We'll ensure public safety by supporting our police department and working tirelessly to keep Bridgewater a safe, secure place to live, work, and raise a family. We'll preserve open spaces and invest in our parks, our fields, our greenways to give current and future generations places to learn and play. We will support our local businesses, large and small, by fostering a sense of a community where businesses can thrive and drive economic success for all of us. At the heart of these initiatives is a simple truth that Bridgewater succeeds when we work together. Whether it's success of the REACH program, to combat the opioid crisis, the reconstruction of over 250 township roads, or the collaborative input into our master plan, we've proven that by coming together, we can achieve real results. As we move forward, let's commit to that hard work together, to making Bridgewater a place where families can flourish, businesses can prosper, and children can grow up with opportunities to achieve their dreams. At the heart of this progress has been a successful collaboration with our dedicated and hardworking Township Council. I want to take a moment to thank the council members for that dedication, their tireless work and commitment to Bridgewater's success. I could not do this, we could not do this without the partnership between the council and the mayor. It makes everything work incredibly smoothly, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have Howard as our council president this year. He has been a mentor for me. I've probably said this at other reorgs, but since I first got on the council in 2008, and Howard's wisdom and his steady hand, he's seen it all. You've 5 terms, your 5th one, right, as the council president. So, Howard's seen it. He's been there. He's done that. And one of the things that I find most important, it may not shock anybody to hear that a lot of times politicians think they know everything and that they're always right. Sometimes having that person in a room that is not afraid to tell you you're wrong is very helpful. And Howard is somebody who has that ability to do it. He can do it with a level of the respect that he's earned throughout his years of service on the council and to this community. So when he speaks, he's listened to. And he has, I think, a tact that does it too when you tell us that we're wrong. That, it's not always gentle. I wouldn't say he's always gentle about it. Sometimes it's very direct, but always done in a fair way that's thoughtful. And it's nice to know that, where you stand with somebody and where they think about an issue. So I'm thrilled, and Howard's been there since I started here. And I also want to just take a moment to recognize Tim for his work as council president this past year. And, different bond with Tim, but Tim and I ran together. So when you have that, it's a different relationship. And Tim, you did a great job as we're on this side now as council president. And we'll see when how you do on your 5th time as council president. We'll compare. So thank you to Tim and to Howard and to all the council members who have made this job a lot of fun most days. It's a great town. I love being here. I love being the mayor of this great community. And thank you all for allowing me to do that, to working with all of us here and being part of our team to make sure that we can deliver for our residents and we can continue to fulfill the promises that we made when we were elected, that we continue to make each year when we stand up here at our reorganization meetings, and to make sure that this town can continue to be one of the greatest in New Jersey. So thank you. God bless you all. God bless Bridgewater, and have a great and happy, healthy 2025. Thank you.
Grace reminded me very subtly that one of the things I passed over was item 10, which is council member statements. This provides an opportunity for council folks to address everyone here, including those on TV, and offer comments. If I start at the right, Alan, is there anything that you would like to say?
Yes. First of all, and not the least, I'd like to thank Howard and Matt for taking up about a half hour of things that I was going to talk about. And I'm sure you don't want to hear those things all over again. It's a pleasure to work with both of them. And as a councilman, I'd just like to say to all residents of Bridgewater Township that the commitment that we have as members of the governing body is as strong as ever. And I assure you that as polite and as everything is smoothly going along this evening, that's always not the case. There are at times debates, different voices of opinion, and as I was told many, many years ago, being on a township governing body is a game of compromise. And I truly do believe that, and I thank all my fellow council members and the mayor's office for working as a team this past year. I'd also like to recognize the efforts of all the people, the residents who volunteer to serve on our boards, whether it be the planning board with John, the Board of Adjustment, the rec board, open space board, all of the time that gets put in hours over the year to serve the residents of Bridgewater, they're not noticed. You know, do they get complained about at times? Yeah, they do get complained about, but I'm here this evening to say thank you to each and every one who does serve. I truly do appreciate and recognize the time that you put into your positions on different committees. For our police chief and public works, God bless you guys. When things are going smooth, nobody thinks about you. But when things are going bad, you're the first two people we think about. Where's the police officer? I need some help. Or public works, you know, I got a problem in our street, or whatever the case might be. The dedication and the work that these fellows do with their departments, to me, is simply amazing. And I thank John and Dickie for your crews and your teams for the work that you do and for your leadership. And also, in Bridgewater Township, we are very blessed to have emergency service organizations such as our fire departments, which are all volunteer, and our EMT, or rescue squads, who are all volunteer. The hours that are put in by all of these guys volunteering their time is astronomical. And I would be remiss to not say, you know, God bless each and every one of them, and thankfully I thank each and one of them from the bottom of my heart for the service that they provide. And for everybody here this evening, and for all the residents of Bridgewater Township, it's a new year. I wish everybody the best of health and prosperity as we move through the new year in 2025, and hopefully in 2026 we'll be able to say similar things. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. So, one of the risks you run when you publicly thank people is sometimes you forget somebody. And it's very easy to remember the people sitting up on the dais in the clerk's office and Mr. Corsini in the administration, but there's somebody who I forgot to thank that I'm going to do now. There's somebody who is behind the scenes, someone who does a lot of stuff with our council meetings. Before this meeting started, was out in the hallway organizing Boy Scouts, does our live streaming, is actually the person that advances the slides and all that. So I would be remiss if I didn't thank Suzanne Mader, who's hiding in the closet over there, making sure our live stream's running, shaking her head no at me, but I would just wanted to publicly acknowledge her efforts as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. So first, I want to say welcome to everyone, and it's great to see the individuals here in your various capacities, representing our various volunteers, appointees, first responders, and those who really make a difference on a daily basis to move Bridgewater forward. I want to just acknowledge that we've now completed a 5-year rotation. This group on the dais, as your council, has been in place for 5 years, and now each of us has completed a term as president. So we have led and have been led by each other, and I think that's that's an important accomplishment. So to outgoing President Ring, congratulations on a very successful year, and to my other colleagues, I just simply want to say how much I've enjoyed getting to know each of you as we've worked on issues big and small over the 5 years I've been on council. Priority this year will be continued advocacy. It could be the issues that we've talked about frequently: the budget, managing our government, land use, and smart development, or a focus on what I'll call neighborhood and micro issues, because if it involves 3 homes or 30 homes or 300 homes, it's a priority. It's a priority for you. It's a priority for us. Sitting on this dais and holding this office is a privilege. I do recognize that every day. With that privilege comes the responsibility to continue to move our beautiful township forward. So in closing, I simply want to wish everybody a happy new year, and I share my sincerest wish that your homes and your lives are filled with the blessings of good health, good fortune, peace, harmony, and hopefully at least your fair share of happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hi, good evening, everybody. So nice to see so many faces here tonight. Hope everyone has a happy new year. To everybody here and out there watching us on YouTube. As I was sitting here listening to everybody, and I guess I get to go last, but it's a good thing in a way, but just can't help but think of what a great town this is, and how fortunate we are to live here in Bridgewater Township and in America. But I grew up here in Bridgewater. I've been in 8 different addresses. I understand the diversity of our township and the different areas, and really Bridgewater is a beautiful place. We're very lucky to live here. So I just can't help but share that. So I think the mayor, Mayor Mensch became mayor. He made a promise to us the first time he ran that he was going to protect our quality of life. And he's been a zealous fighter for us here in Bridgewater Township and making sure that we protect what we have. Bridgewater is great, first of all, because of its people. I mean, the bedrock of our community are the 46,000 residents of Bridgewater. We have a great sense of community. Sometimes I can't help but just be in awe. Someone needs something, like you see a post on Facebook, and the way we all come together in the community, just so willing to go. They're so giving, and they just help each other so much, and it's just so touching. So really the bedrock of what we are in Bridgewater and why we're great places because of the people that live here. But then, of course, the fact that we have a great quality of life in town. We love living here because of our quality of life. Mayor Minch hasn't forgotten that. He's been a fighter for that, starting with fighting against the Center of Excellence and just continuing that, whether it's improving our roads, making sure that our zoning is done proper. So thank you, Mayor, for that. And also, I can't help but think of all the volunteers that we have. We have so many amazing volunteers in this township, and you guys are just fabulous. And without you, I mean, this place wouldn't be what it is. So thank you all for volunteering. Zoning board and the planning board are so important boards because they really are the gatekeepers to protecting our quality of life and stopping overdevelopment. So thank you, Mr. Foos, for chairing the zoning board and for all the other volunteers. And I don't think Mauricio's not here tonight, but thanks to him and all the planning board members for volunteering. These guys are volunteers and they volunteer a lot. These boards take up a lot of time. I think most of the guys here have served on one board or another. And they're just incredibly time consuming. They're not paid, and they just do it because they love their town, and very grateful for that. Also want to thank my fellow council members. I mean, I know we don't talk much about ourselves, but these guys here, I mean, I know firsthand how much they care about Bridgewater Township. And Bridgewater is fortunate to have such a great group of guys up here who really spend so much of their time, and they do so much behind the scenes that really work hard for the people here in town. And I'm really proud of them, so I just want to acknowledge them for all the work that they do here in Bridgewater Township. I want to thank the chief and the police department because, you know, without safety, we don't have much quality of life in Bridgewater. The men and women that serve our police department are just amazing. They really are Bridgewater's finest. And I'm never shy to thank the men and women of our police department. I really appreciate everything they do. So make sure you take that word back to them, because I know all of us here really appreciate them. Our citizens appreciate their service to our community. So thank you. I'll give a shout out to Roman. He's a reporter who we don't really talk much about, kind of sits back there. But he comes to all our council meetings. And so, you know, the media obviously are a very important part of our society because they help share to the people everything that goes on up here. And without the media, the public really wouldn't know, would be hard for the public to know what the governing body is doing. And so thank you, Roman, for always coming to our council meetings and getting the word out for everything that we do. So really, everything else has been said. I just wanted to basically just really thank and acknowledge people. I know that the administration has fabulous staff, and our clerk's office is amazing, and everybody that works for the town's amazing. I wanted to focus on the volunteers because they just give their time to the township and really help us make Bridgewater an amazing place to live. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for everyone, and Happy New Year again.
Thank you, Philippe. We're now moving to section number 12 in the agenda, and it's listed as mayor's appointment with advice and consent. He has two batches, and if it is acceptable to the council, I'd like to do a consent on all of the mayor's appointments. I'm going to read each and every one of them, but I'd like to do them as a consent so we can save some time. 12A is the appointment of qualified purchasing agent Sarah Hausman as 2025 Public Agency Compliance Officer. 12B, authorizing appointment of William H. Burr IV, professional engineer of Colliers Engineering and Design as township engineer for the period of January 1, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $120,000. Letter C, authorizing appointment of Catherine Sarmad, professional planning of Sarmad Planning Group, LLC, as a township planner, and award of professional services contract in an amount not to exceed $77,500 for the period commencing on January 1st, 2025. Letter D, authorizing appointment of Darlene Green, professional planner of Colliers Engineering and Design, as affordable housing planner and award of professional service contract in an amount not to exceed $40,000 for the period of January 1, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, to be funded from the COA Trust Fund Mount Laurel expense account. Letter E, authorizing appointment of Michael Sullivan of the firm of Clark, Caton, Hintz, P.C. as redevelopment planner and award of professional service contract in an amount not to exceed $20,000 for a one-year term commencing on January 1st, 2025. F, authorizing and approving the fee schedule for the professional legal services for Christopher M. Corsini, Esquire, and the law firm of Savo, Schalk, Gillespie, Ogrodnik, Fisher, PA, in an amount not to exceed $460,000 for the period of January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. We should have had your name in there also, right after. It should actually be Savo, Schalk, and then Corsini, but we'll fix that. G is authorizing and approving the fee schedule for affordable housing legal services for Christopher M. Corsini, Esquire, and the law firm of Savo, Schalk, Corsini, Warner, Gillespie, Ogrodnik, and Fisher, PA, in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the period of January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Moving to letter H, authorizing and approving the fee schedule for tax appeal legal services for Christopher H. Corsini, Esquire, and the law firm of Savo, Short, Corsini, Warner, Gillespie, Ogrodnik, and Fisher, PA, in an amount not to exceed $40,000 for the period of January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. Authorizing award of contract for professional services to John Drakowitz, Esquire, of the law firm of Givens, P.C., as bond counsel for the calendar year 2025. J, authorizing the appointment of Matthew Jacoby, Esquire, of the law firm of Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, and Jacobs, LLC, as labor counsel for the Township of Bridgewater for the one-year term commencing on January 1st, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $120,000. Moving to K, excuse me, authorizing award of contract professional legal services, municipal prosecutor John Lanzer, Esquire, in an amount not to exceed $80,000 for a one-year term commencing on January 1st, 2025. L, authorizing award of contract professional legal services, municipal public defender to Scott Mitzner, Esquire, for a one-year term commencing on January 1st, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $40,000. M, authorizing award of contract professional legal services, first alternate municipal public defender to Daniel Frisella, Esquire, for a one-year term commencing on January 1st, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $3,600. N, authorizing an award of contract to Rehabco Incorporated of 44 East Water Street, Toms River, New Jersey, 08753, to serve as the township's administrative agent for affordable housing and provide housing rehabilitation program services for a 12-month period commencing on January 1st, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $180,000, paid from the township's Affordable Housing Trust. Now, that represents the staff pronouncements from the mayor's side. Moving on to section 13, these are the mayor's appointment with advice and counsel for boards and committees. 13A, appointment to the Bridgewater Raritan Youth Services Commission. Matthew Mensch, Christine Madrid, Daniel Ahern, Lindsay Schambach. Item B, appointment to the Community Emergency Response Team, also known as CERT. Ashish Thakar, Brian Shergansky, Cheryl Acquista, Colin Tritlow, Dennis Danzo, Dhiren Patel, Ed Schuler, James Edwards, Jason Shepard, Joseph Kusamanu II, Kamal Alfiero, Kevin Kimmel, Lisa Begley, Leonard Contarino, Mashesh Chandra, Mary Beth Engelhart, Michael Harvis, Nikki Bellini, Pat Sullivan, Richard Wiedemann, Robin Cusimano, Steve Cornello Sr., Wayne Carter, and Zuming Zhang. Letter C, appointment to the Economic Development Committee, Jason Goland and Sophia Georges. D, appointments to the Emergency Medical Service Advisory Committee, Timothy Ring, James Edwards, Scott Stevens. Letter E, appointment to the Environmental Commission, Addison Riley, Amy Lee Alonzo, James Maguro, and Ray Vella. Now, by the way, James Magura is the Planning Board representative to this body, and Ray is the Open Space representative. Moving to F, it's appointment to the Green Book Flood Control Commission, Tom Genova, Alan Credill as the county liaison, Michael Kirsch as the alternate liaison. Appointment to the Health Advisory Board, Bruce Bongiorno. Appointment to the Library Advisory Board, Kimberly Osborne and Olivia Lopez. Appointment to the Local History Advisory Committee, Maurizio Vezio. Appointment to the Park Board, Ashley Sakura, Jennifer Longren, Jonathan Hill, William Akins. Appointment to the Raritan Millstone Flood Control Commission, Alan Credilla as the council liaison, Scott Stevens as the alternate liaison. Appointments to the Recreation Board, Fabiola Folino and Lindsay Schambach. Appointment to the Regional Center Partnership, Matthew Mensch, Michael Pappas, and Philippe Pedroso as the council liaison. Appointments to the Shade Tree Board, Barbara Ronca. By the way, Barbara Ronca has served on that board as long as I ever remember. God bless her. Diane Marconi and Jeremy Lee. Appointments to the Veteran Advisory Committee, Danielle Cayola, Michael Menendez, and Scott Moraldo. Now that lists all those people from 12 and 13 are the mayor's boards and commissions with advice and consent. Could I have a motion for consent approval for sections 12 and 13 for the mayor's appointments?
I'll make that motion.
A roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch,
Yes.
Councilman Codilla,
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso, Councilman Ring, President Nogales.
Yes. Now moving to section 14, which are the mayor's appointments without advice and consent. Appointments to the Local Emergency Management Council. Anit Shah, Christine Madrid, Christopher Cossini, Howard Norgalis, James Edwards, John Mitzak, John Tolitzin, Michael Voorhees, Richard Schimpf, Tom Scalera, Timothy Ring, Wayne Carter, Scott Stevens. Appointment to the Planning Board members. Class.
President, sorry, just real quick, on this one, for class 4, James McGora is not up this year. It should be Henry Wang. So that's Henry's being reappointed,
Henry Wang?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, D, appointment of planning board members. Class 2 member, Michael Pappas. Class 4 member is Henry Wang. Class 4, Maurizio Vezio. And alternate number 1 is Niran Chaudhry. Appointment to the Somerset County Solid Waste Advisory Committee, Tom Genova. Appointments to the Somerset County Development Consortium, Scott Stevens. The council hereby acknowledges receipt of the mayor's appointment. There is no action for us to take. Now moving to council appointments. A is appointment of the auditor, Suppley Clooney and Company, 308 East Broad Street, Westfield, New Jersey, 07090-2122, in a total amount not to exceed $65,500 for a one-year term commencing on January 1st, 2025. B is appointment of Assessment Search Officer, William H. Burr IV, Township Engineer. Item C, appointment to the Bridgewater Raritan Municipal Alliance. Claudia Bateman, Howard Nargalis, Joanne Bixler, John Metzak, Lynn Hurley, Megan Mensch, and Serena Collado. D, appointment to the Board of Adjustment. Andrew Fresco as a regular member, John Gajewski as a regular member, John Kulak as alternate number 2, and Claudio Vesio as alternate number 3. Appointment to the Open Space Advisory Committee, James Widelli, Ray Vella, and Jan Wren. Appointment of the Class 3 Planning Board member is Michael Kirsch. Appointment of the Tax Search Officer, Blanca Lyons. Appointment to the Somerset County Community Consortium, Alan Credilla as the council liaison, Howard Nargalis as the alternate. Appointment to the County Solid Waste Advisory Committee, Howard Nargalis as county liaison, Michael Kirsch as alternate liaison. Appointment to the Somerset Raritan Valley Sewerage Authority, Howard Nargalis, council liaison, Michael Kirsch, alternate liaison. Appointments to the Somerset Regional Animal Shelter Management Committee, Robert Devaney, James Widelli, Tony Hoffman, Joan Flynn. Appointment to the Middlebrook Regional Health Commission, Howard Nargalis, Timothy Ring. Those were the council. Could I have a motion to confirm the council appointments, please?
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Padilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso? Yes. Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. We now reach the point of item number 16, with oaths of office to be administered by Christopher Corsini. Sir.
Yes, if you happen to have received an appointment, please stand up and raise your right hand.
If your name was...
I'll read the oath. Please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Howard Nargalis,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and the governments established
and the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and I will faithfully and just impartially
perform all the duties of your board
perform all the duties of several of them
of the Township of Bridgewater
of the Township of Bridgewater
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you, Christopher. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, she left one.
No, for the people out there.
Oh, okay. There are batch forms. If you had your hand up, there are oaths that you need to sign. Are they over there? Okay. So right after, don't run out. Grace will make sure that everybody gets their package and gets an opportunity to sign. Now, we're at the point of, we have some general business resolutions that have to be tended to. At each reorganization, there are certain items that have to be addressed, and I'll read them as follows. Item 17-1 is 2025 General Business Resolution granting various authorities to township staff and setting officials' designations, policies, and procedures pursuant to various applicable laws. Number 2, the 2025 Township Council Schedule of Meetings, very important. 2025 temporary budget, current fund in the amount of $15,371,289.65. There's also a 2025 temporary budget sewer utility in the amount of $3,468,858.98. Statutorily, we have to make sure we can pay our bills, so it is a requirement that we establish that temporary budget. Number 6, authorizing Bridgewater Township Engineer William H. Burr, the 4th PE of the firm of Colliers Engineering and Design to execute NJDEP and NJDOT State of New Jersey and Somerset County permits on behalf of the township for the year 2025.
Did you get number 5?
Sorry?
Did you read number 5?
Oh, establishing cash management plan and naming official depositor. Thank you. Those represent the resolutions having to do with general business. Could I have a motion to approve those
So
resolutions?
moved.
Second? Second. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch,
Yes.
Councilman Cordiller,
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso, Councilman Ring,
Yes.
President Nogales.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now at number 18, which is the meeting open to the public. Members of the public wishing to address the council on any matter will be allowed 2 minutes to speak unless there are unusual circumstances. Could I have a motion to open the meeting for the
So
public?
moved.
We have a
Second
second?
it.
Second, please. Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now open to the public. If you come forward, there's a little sign-in sheet. If you would put your name and address down for anyone who wishes to address the council on any matter.
Seeing no one, make a motion to close public comment.
Could we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of closing the open?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are now at number 19, which is actually, it's normally my favorite thing.
I was gonna
but
say,
I'm not
since
gonna- I'm not going to do it anymore.
Since we switched seats, does that
Okay.
come with the
So,
responsibility?
You have the
we adjourn.
responsibility.
Alan just did it. I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending. There will be refreshments in the large conference room right next door. And again, for people who have taken an oath, please pick up your package, sign your oath, and Grace will acknowledge it. Thank you again, and God bless you one and all. Have a safe year.
Here's to a productive, very productive 2024. 2025.
We're going to work on it.
Happy to be with you again, Howard.
Thank you. Nice job, Grace.
He has like 14 white